Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, and I'm joined tonight by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Mike Kruger.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
So, tonight we got a bunch of reviews for you guys, but before we get into that, what's up, Harvey? Before we get into that, we have some news bits that we wanted to talk about. So we're not going to talk about what the Scream 6 leaks are, but just in general that they happened. I'm curious because a lot of people have been speculating on this. Do you think it affects the box office?
No.
You don't think that hurts it?
No, because the people who are going to see it, I don't think it's going to affect. Maybe one or two are going to be annoyed about it. First question, and this is not asking for anything specific other than, is it video or script leaks?
That I could not figure out. It looks like they scrubbed everything.
So there was leaks, but we don't know what the leaks were?
Oh, no, it was like full ending and plot leaks.
Okay, so...
Video, I don't know.
Okay, so it's probably
script leaks. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Honestly, they could have did the same thing they did with 3 and leaked it on purpose so people stopped paying attention.
See, that's what I'm curious. Now, obviously, I'm not as invested in Scream as other people. So, could it just be a fake studio thing?
It's very possible. I don't know. I've avoided what they were thus far. So you'll have to tell me after. I see it. What they were.
We'll have to do an extensive spoiler section to compare what the fucking leaks were and what actually happened in the movie.
Well, let me ask this since Dan's life, kind of rests on it. So was the joking spoiler Dan made one of the same ones? Or I don't know if you know what the spoilers are.
Joking spoiler. What are you
the fucking tweet that I almost murdered you over.
Well, that was before any.
I know, but I'm saying, do they line up? So
that wasn't before the leaks. That was like the day the leaks happened. I thought you fucking gave away the plot.
I don't know. Maybe before I knew what it was, anyways. But no.
And that's why I warned Dan. Your fake spoilers can be right, and you can get hurt.
Yeah, well, you'll know if he's missing a limb after fucking.
Wasn't it something ridiculous though? Like, I can't believe they brought dinosaurs in the mix or something.
No, that wasn't your tweet. Your tweet was fucking involved.
If that was the case, Kruger would be pissed if there weren't dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly.
They unmask and it's the T-Rex.
They unmask, dude. They unmask and it's fucking the T-Rex from Tammy and the T-Rex.
It's Paul Walker.
Now I'll save it. It actually.
Yeah, I'm just curious because again, I did not. We're not revealing anything, but if that's legit, it's everything. I mean, it's the whole story.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's all for Scream 6.
Or were the spoilers in 3D? I think not.
Right.
Not in 3D. That might come at some point, but
I might too. But
the other bit of I guess sad news. Again, we don't want to assume anything, but we still haven't found Julian Sands. There is an update though, as far as the search is concerned. He's been gone now since January 13th. Obviously, that's getting kind of dire, but there was a possible hit on an electronic device that they were trying to follow up on. Didn't find anything that would lead to them finding Julian Sands, but they're gonna keep continuing the search. I know there's some really rough winter weather there right now, so unfortunately they're gonna have to wait again. I know, really sad. His friend John Malkovich spoke a little bit about it recently, and he's the godfather to his kid, and it's really sad. I mean, I don't know what to think. I guess at this point, the only hope is maybe somehow, some way he was depressed and he's held up somewhere. I would imagine it'd be pretty tough to survive the elements that long, but I hope whatever the case may be, there, closure at the very least, if not, a miracle at this point. But yeah, we do have to either way, hopefully with some happy news, but cover
What are
some of
we
the.
at? Are we over a month now?
Oh, you're well over a month, yeah.
Because I know when we first reported on it, it was about 2 weeks in.
Yeah, January 13th. So
okay, yeah, about 5 weeks.
Yeah, that it's depressing.
Yeah,
but you never know. Strange things have happened, and
hopefully he's just like hiking it up with some homeless dude somewhere or something.
Or you know what? I've heard of cases where maybe there was something going on that people weren't aware of. He just depressed, some sort of mental break where he's just in a cabin somewhere and doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
he was having some he was having some issues for a while, right?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, it's an extremely dangerous area to hike. Yeah. I've never done it. I mean, I'm not as skilled as Julian Sands was, but not a good idea, generally speaking, where it sounds like he was. It's not far from you at all, really, Todd, but what people don't realize in California,
it is.
Oh, it is. Okay. I don't know the geography, but
California is one of those fucking states, man, where like something could be like 4 hours away and it not seem that far on the map.
Yeah, it's true. Big state.
You add in LA traffic, that's a motherfucking 10-hour trip.
The issue is like at the elevation, people think, oh, California, it never gets that cold, but it can be like -10. I think it some of that, the elevation he was at, and there's just a lot that can go wrong. There were hikers missing around the same time. So
Julian Sands got fucking kidnapped by Bigfoot somewhere.
Zombie, are there cabins in that area?
No.
I don't think
Dan
so.
Said he's shacked up in a cabin. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, that's assuming maybe he's somewhere else entirely.
I mean, you don't know. Maybe he has a little like Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey fucking set going on over there.
Maybe this. No, it's a bad taste. Well,
just say it, fucker. Like we're trying to censor.
Well, it's not that. I mean, there could be a promotional tie-in for a certain movie that comes out Friday. I mean,
well, damn.
God damn.
That would be so fucked up, but actually kind of funny.
I definitely want to cover Mercy on Flesh Wound After Dark.
Yes.
It's one that doesn't get talked about a lot, but definitely falls in the erotic thriller label. So again, I don't know, man. It sucks, and it also sucks not knowing. I feel bad for his family. But
pull up Slasher's comment. That's fucking great. He probably stumbled across a cabin and found a book in the fruit cellar.
We have to hope. We have to hope at this point. But
I think I just switch over.
Nah, I got it.
Okay.
But really,
Dan,
cool
why
guy.
you no selling Slasher?
Chris is. I'm not no selling Chris.
Totally did.
I'm trying to be a serious newsman, Todd. God damn it!
I'll swallow your soul.
Yeah. Julian Sands would be awesome in an Evil Dead movie. That would actually be really cool. But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully, one way or another, we'll find out something soon. But figured it had been a while since we did an update on him. And look, it helps to keep the name out there in the story. It was actually pretty crazy how few people were reporting on this, because I consider Julian Sands important to the horror community. When you look at his titles, I mean, Boxing Helena, The Warlock 1 through 2, and Phantom of the Opera. I mean, he's important. And
damn, are you just like assing out Warlock 3 though?
Well, he wasn't in Warlock 3.
Oh,
Bruce
right.
Payne isn't fucking missing in the woods, Todd. Learn your direct to video Lionsgate titles.
Damn it, Dan got me on something.
Yeah. I did get you on something. Bruce Payne, villain from Passenger 57. You can't replace Julian Sands, but It's a good.
Tells you how much I remember the third one.
It's not.
You know,
awful.
I've actually not seen any of them.
Oh, okay. Well, you should definitely dive into those. 2, I think, will be your favorite. Armageddon, the second one.
Yeah.
So, other bit of news, not really news. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be covering this, I believe, next week. But got my tickets to Cocaine Bear tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going on Friday in D-box seats, and I'm super fucking excited. I had to go the extra mile with the D-box seats for Cocaine Bear. So that's like on it, like. Since I found out about that fucking movie, it's been one of my most anticipated movies because I love animal attacks movies. I remember when this whole story came out about the bear eating cocaine, and like, you know, granted, this is a total ridiculous, you know, dramatization of what could have happened with the cocaine bear. He didn't actually go and massacre anybody, but the fact that we're
all
getting
true, Kruger, everything that happens.
but the fact that we're getting a movie about a what if situation about something like that is really, really fucking cool in my opinion. And we just had a cocaine shark incident happen not that long ago, like literally like 3 weeks ago. So maybe future sequels we could have a cocaine shark movie.
So this is kind of making me think here. So an actual incident wouldn't. I mean, the cocaine, I assume, must have slipped into water somehow, but wouldn't it be diluted to the point that it wouldn't really?
Well,
not necessarily.
I don't do coke.
I mean, it depends. Like,
watch the movie.
Yeah, well, it depends on how wrapped it. No, I think he's talking about the shark situation.
Oh, okay.
The real life shark situation.
Yeah,
like, you know, because it would hit the water. I don't know. Does anybody do cocaine in the chat?
I mean, if it's wrapped tight enough,
done. I don't know what we're asking.
Yeah, I mean, if the kilos are wrapped tight enough, I mean, the shark's still going to get quite a bit of cocaine in the system. Even
yeah, and I don't think
water.
he was going to be sniffing it anyway. I'm still assuming he's consuming it.
Oh yeah,
so I don't think wet or dry is going to make a difference.
Yeah,
it doesn't change its molecular structure.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I guess you could still fuck up a shark on cocaine.
Well, let's find out.
Dude, fucking cocaine jaws, I'm in, dude.
Cocaine jaws.
Okay, we got to cut this part out 12 minutes so we can go start working on cocaine jaws.
Yeah, right.
Welcome, Brent Madison, to the chat. I don't know if I've seen you before, man, but welcome. He asks, are we picking up the Cocaine Bear Mondo poster tomorrow?
I'm not aware of it, but I may want to. Depends on how good the movie is.
And we were also asked, did you play the Cocaine Bear game?
I've wanted to.
It's the 8-bit gimmick, right?
Yeah. They have like a little 8-bit gimmick on their website. I haven't got around to playing it yet, just because I haven't been on my computer and just been on my phone. But I will definitely try to play it probably tomorrow or something like that before I watch the movie.
Now I want to see if I can put it on my TV.
Yeah, right.
I'm still learning all this.
Yeah, you're all fucking around with old school games and shit. I saw. If you didn't see on our Instagram, Todd playing what was it, the Atari Halloween game?
Yes, and I realized I still need to find the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. Although I know it is. But I can't find Custard's. Oh, what was the Custard's Revenge? That was so hard to find.
I have heard of that.
Well, of course,
I'm not
everyone
a gamer.
It's a topic we're not allowed to speak the word of tonight. So
yes, there was like some old school like adult game where you were like,
Larry.
No, this is going way back, and it may be a hardcore older gamer might know it, but my brother had it. My older brother, he's 12 years older than me. It's like the whole thing was just like you're trying to like bang your boss's like hot daughter. Like that's just, there's no plot. Like it's literally just you have to like bang his daughter.
Well, I'm guessing this is a PC game though.
PC, I believe. It would have been a long time ago.
The only like sex related PC game I know is Leisure Suit Larry.
Okay. Yeah, no, that I've heard of as well. What's up, Jessica? I haven't seen you in a while in here.
Yes, Leisure Suit Larry. PC game from the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay. We do have other video game news, which is weird because we never do video games really on here. But Pooh Honey Time which I don't know if it's an official Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey game.
It's not. It's a Steam game, so it's probably some fan made thing because they have a bunch of those like put on Steam. You can play like fan made Halloween games and all types of shit on there. But I am interested a little bit. A Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey game. Like if they actually made it an official one, I think it would be pretty popular.
Oh, but yeah, that
just do a Friday the 13th style fucking game. Like that would be fucking great.
Can we just mod the NES the Pooh game?
Oh, dude, we could like. I'm sure there's so many mods out there for the Friday the 13th game alone. That I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there that's going to do that because they've already done it with like they use the character model from Dead by Daylight for Freddy Krueger in one of them. They have like a Michael Myers mod and all types of shit on there. So I'm sure eventually we will be getting a Winnie the Pooh mod.
Yeah, I just thought the other day, one thing they need to do in a sequel, we need zombie Eeyore. I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah.
The only character I know we can't do is Tigger.
Well, no, but like zombie Eeyore could totally be a thing in the sequel where like that's kind of the defining force that helps the slasher or the victims take on Pooh and stuff. Fucking I need that, dude. Fucking Christopher Robin riding Eeyore with a fucking we can even bring in a magic sword like we got in fucking Terrifier 2 and he's fucking coming up riding on Eeyore and slashing them up. I'm in.
I kind of want Eeyore to just be like some zombified goth kid, although they're mutants, so you kind of have to. I don't know.
The Big T said the sequel to Blood and Honey better be Pooh versus Eeyore versus Freddy versus Jason style. Yeah, dude, I'm in.
Can you imagine the fight between we get Ronnie Yu to direct it, and the fight between like Pooh and like Jason Voorhees, like that scene where like Pooh's just like running him through the fucking wall.
Who's gonna do the hate speech before they kill him?
Oh my god!
Who's got it this time? I see her on commercials now. I'm like, okay.
So yeah, there you go. We never talked video games, so there you guys go.
And not even just video games. There was also news about that kaiju movie, The Lake.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing in the kaiju community. We've all been fucking really clamoring to get our hands on, and it has an official release date for a theatrical release on March 10th, and then shortly after it will be released on VOD, and then I believe the Blu-ray is going to ship in April. So I am fucking so psyched for that goddamn movie. The trailers look amazing. The reviews so far have been a little up in the air. I'm not sure where to really put my expectations, but the fact that we're getting a giant kaiju fucking in Thailand movie with a bunch of practical effects that look like they're straight out of the golden years of Jurassic Park. I'm so excited for that film. I can't wait. March is going to be a big month for me. I got that coming out, that fucking 65 Adam Driver dinosaur movies coming out.
I'm hopeful for that one. 65
I've heard
actually looks good.
It's another one of those movies where I've heard mixed things, but I just know, like, dude, in my the setup for it is basically the setup for Planet of the Dinosaurs, to be honest with you. So like, I'm really, really excited because I've always loved that movie, and we haven't had outside of the King Kong movies. There has not been a single big budget dinosaur movie since Jurassic Park. I mean, you could say Sound of Thunder, but come on, that movie was the shits, and it didn't have a good.
It was big budget though.
Yeah, it was big budget, but it was the shits with the CGI. So I'm very, very hopeful and very excited, and I hope this kind of reignites a fire under Hollywood's ass, not to just have Jurassic Park be the only dinosaur property we're ever going to fuck around with. So very excited. That Scream, there's a lot of great movies coming up in the next couple of months. So very, very excited to see what this year is going to come. But on that note, what do we got tonight?
let's talk some ultra violence to kick it off tonight with our first film of the evening, which is a South Korean film called Project Wolf Hunting from writer-director Hong Sun Kim. And in this film, it follows dangerous criminals on a cargo ship who are transported from Manila in the Philippines to Busan, South Korea. And along the way, they unleash a sinister force after an escape attempt leads to a riot.
Fuck yeah.
All right. So Kruger, let you go first on this one. What did you think of Project Wolf Hunting?
Well, I'll just say the opening scene, there was like a dodgy CGI explosion, like right off the bat, and I was just like, "Oh man, here we fucking go!" Like this is just going to be a CGI shit fest. But man, like we started getting introduced to these characters, and especially that one tatted up psychopath dude that's one of the guys incarcerated on the ship. He was just like, I loved everything about his character. He was so sinister, and just like I would honestly not mind a spin-off to see whatever the fuck that dude did to get locked up, because he was absolutely insane. I wasn't really like sure where the story was going to go with this movie. It takes a fucking crazy turn like about 30 minutes in, and from there on the movie just never lets up. It's so intense, and there's just so many blood-soaked scenes throughout this thing. It's honestly one of the most violent movies I've seen in a really, really long time. Just everything is fucking done with maliciousness. So much gore, amazing.
It's mean.
I love the ridiculousness of how fucking bloody it was. Everybody, like every kill in this movie is just like gallons of blood pouring out of them.
2.5 tons, which sounds like a lot, but that's apparently what they used.
Yeah, I mean, god damn, it's so much blood, and the fact that all the kills, from my knowledge, watching it, were all done practically, and great practical effects throughout this thing. So much gore, so much violence. This is definitely a movie that was right up my fucking alley. Also, a kill involving a sledgehammer that may be my favorite kill of the year, but we'll see how the rest of this year plays out. But right now, that's number one, because that sledgehammer kill fucking would make Cannibal Corpse proud. Hammer Smash Face was playing in my head the whole fucking time. So yeah, just awesome practical violence throughout this thing, and the story was really cool. It was kind of like a mixture between Con Air, but on a boat, and then
Under Siege. I was gonna say
Con Air on a boat, but then you had these Resident Evil type vibes getting kind of put in there, which was really, really cool. And I wasn't expecting it to go that way. And there's a big portion of this movie that feels just like a slasher movie on fucking steroids. I mean, there's a certain character. I don't want to give anything away because I think the surprise is great. But there's a certain character that just goes through everybody, and I mean in the most brutal and fucking vicious ways possible, and I love that. There's a couple of detractors for me though. I will bring up the dodgy CGI, because there's a couple of scenes where it is a little bit jarring. Not anything with the kills or anything like that, but explosions or shots of the boat that kind of looked a little also there's a practical wolf that looked really fucking bad, in my opinion. But other than that, and the movie is a little too long. I think there's about 20 minutes of fat. You could easily trim this out of this, because I don't necessarily think for the concept it needed to be 2 hours long. But I wasn't ever bored. And I also just kind of had a blast watching this whole thing up until the ending. The ending I thought could have been a little bit stronger. But maybe maybe some sequels in our future. Who knows? So if there are sequels, I'll be more forgiving with the ending over time.
There is a prequel and a sequel in development.
Oh, awesome. Okay, then the ending makes a little bit more sense if they're setting it up for a trilogy. But yeah, I had a great time. I think this is probably the most must-see movie that I've watched this year if you're a gorehound. Because you're just gonna have a great time watching people fucking be totally massacred for a good hour and fucking 40 minutes of this movie. So yeah, it gets my stamp of approval, and as of right now, it's probably my second favorite movie I've seen all year.
Nice. Todd. You are muted, Todd.
I know Kruger was recommending this one before we had even decided to review it, that it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected a little crazy, and yeah, it delivered what you said. I do agree with you about the runtime. You could cut it down a little bit, tighten it up.
Yeah.
Get that 90-minute sweet spot, and I think my rating would go up with that.
Me too.
But as it stands now, it's a good time. I recommend checking it out. Grab the blue, hit the digital. Yeah, it's a good time. Good bloody time.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't bring up the Resident Evil comparisons enough, because like the villain, like the main villain we get, he looks like he's straight out of Resident Evil fucking 5, dude. It's really, really rad.
You've got to love a villain that, like, well, one of the villains that like just gives like an evil speech while getting a blowjob. There's actually a scene in Firefly, of all things, where he's like just giving like a speech to the troops like up on this building, and he's like getting a BJ. It's something extra evil about that. But so prequel and sequel. Now this is a little bit light on character development. It does leave a lot that they could explore in a prequel or sequel, which is a good thing. This is definitely one for the action adrenaline junkies out there, as well as the gore hounds. We get a insanely badass Alpha 1 zombie Terminator that just everything that he doesn't even necessarily involve weapons. Sometimes he just kicks your chest in and just beats the shit out of you till you're mush, basically.
Dude, the scene where he's punching the dude like through his heart, right? And then he rips the heart out, but then he's like, no, I'm not done. Just starts punching the wound over. Like, she's so fucking mean. Like, he's not even like there's a scene where somebody gets stabbed, not even in like, I thought it was in the throat at first, but no, you realize he just stabs this fucking bitch in the cheek and cuts her fucking straight from ear to ear and is bleeding out. All like, the kills are so amazing. Like, this is what the Mortal Kombat fucking movie should have been, this violent.
It's also one thing that this did that I think She Came from the Woods did very well is it kills off people you wouldn't expect to kill off. You're thinking like, oh, okay, well, this is this person's going to be there in the end. And so it made it a little bit unpredictable. And I was going to say the actor, and I apologize if I'm saying the name wrong, but Kui Hwa Choi, who plays Alpha 1, the zombie Terminator, he was also in Train to Busan. Extremely intimidating. It really did feel kind of like a video game in a way, like, oh shit, that shows up, you're fucked pretty much, because you can't do anything to him. I like this world. Like I said, it's a little light on story, but it hints at things and gives you little bits and pieces that if there are going to be sequels, which it sounds like there is, I think that's great. Could be one of those ones. It depends what you like. Like certain points, like I'd like to know a little bit more about those characters. But in the third act, there is some character development, so I think it all works quite well. And there's a lot of holy shit moments. Like I said, this is most of the stuff that lately that would satisfy gorehounds has been very low budget. This has a decent sized budget, so you get some pretty creative carnage. And like I said, some of it was just like, let me just smash your fucking head in like a caveman, just beating you with my hands. I enjoyed the flashback stuff. Overall, I'm very happy with this one. It gave me enough to sort of be like, okay, now I'm kind of intrigued what the prequel would look like, which we do jump at one point back to World War II times. So it would be really kind of cool to see something in that era, and also picking up where we left off, because it kind of leaves us hanging a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a kick-ass movie. Rarely let down by Korean movies of any genre.
That is true. I was just talking about that today. I was like, just like Korean cinema in general, the acting is always just so top notch, especially when you compare it to other stuff. Even the lower budget things, like the amount of talent the actors put into this stuff is really, really amazing. And this one especially, like the what'd you say his name was? Fucking the Alpha or whatever. Alpha One, yeah, like his presence on screen was just amazing, and he would just like jump down from these like really, really high areas, and just when he'd hit, everybody would be looking at him, and he'd come up all menacing. Like, he did such a fucking amazing job as a character actor.
Yeah, this is also a director that you know, you look at something like, it'd be pretty cool if he did get like a Resident Evil movie, although we might be done with those for a while. But
we'll fucking see, dude. Like, I've heard we're done with Resident Evil so many times, then the next thing you know, it's like there's a new reboot, or there's some sort. I know we're getting like an animated movie. I don't know if
that
might be where it's at, because that TV show.
Dan, did you watch it?
Yeah. I watched.
Okay, I'm just making sure, because you like to
shit
on things you haven't watched.
No, I watched it. I watched 6 episodes of that thing, I believe. 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah, it's 6.
It was.
I haven't had the heart to do it yet.
Don't.
Because once I heard Wesker looks like fucking Blade, I was out.
Oh, well, it's a lot worse than that. It is just. And I actually kind of like the movie, but
the movie's fun.
This was just like,
even the movie though. If you're a fan of like the movie, as far as like what they did, they brought the right the right zombie characters in or whatever. But the casting for the actual, for Chris and for Jill and everything, I thought was a fucking mess. And the only reason I didn't hate the new movie was mainly because they brought in the zombie characters I wanted to see.
Yeah. So yeah, well, what do we rate Project Wolf Hunting? Because we got another very unique film coming up. What do you say, Kruger?
For me, I was tossed up between a 4 and a 4.5. I think I'm going to stick with my 4 for now, but that may change over time. And yeah, I can't wait. If we're getting a prequel and a sequel, I'm all for that, and I can't wait to see them.
Sweet. I am a 4. How about you, Todd?
I am also a 4.
4 across the board.
Yeah.
Did Pugs leave any thoughts about
that?
This?
Thank you. Actually, this is one he did have notes on.
He's at Club Rectum tonight, so
yes, he's using Dave. Or he's using Dan's season pass. What am I looking for now?
You're looking for Project Wolf Hunting.
I figured it out. Okay, hold on. Where did he put it?
The rectum comment threw me the fuck off.
I know. Okay, Project. Oh well,
it's in the Red Tower as we speak.
Project Wolf Hunting, whatever. 5 out of 5, obviously. Quality family memories. So,
that's a great review.
He's just in taglines tonight.
I knew when I was watching this, because I watched it before everybody else did. I was like, fuck, dude, this is gonna be one that Pugs is gonna fucking fall in love with, just for the gore and how mean it is. Like, This is such a mean-spirited movie. I don't think I've ever seen I wonder what the kill count was on this. I should have been keeping track, but
guess you gotta watch it again now.
There was so many kills in this fucking movie. Like, it's got to be up at least fucking past 50.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. I mean, at one point he's like I mean, when he wipes out the nurses and doctors, I mean, that's got to
Yeah.
be like 10 right there alone.
Yeah.
Um,
And every single one had it, like it was either just blood splatter all over the fucking place that looked great, or it was like him ripping somebody's chest open with his bare hands. And fucking, I love shit
yeah,
like that.
sometimes you don't need to go way over the top with the implements. I think this just kind of worked. Like, I'm
Yeah.
just a zombie Terminator, and I'm gonna just beat you until there's nothing left. All right, so moving on to our next film, which I was very excited about, and I'll talk a little bit because this is a really crazy film in terms of what it took to get it made. But the next one is Holy Spider from director writer Ali Abbasi. And in this one, a journalist descends into the dark underbelly of the Iranian holy city of Mashhad as she investigates the serial killings of sex workers by the so-called Spider Killer, who believes he is cleansing the streets of sinners. Okay, so if you're unaware, this movie is actually based on the actual serial killer who operated in the very early 2000s, Saeed Hanai. And this was a really crazy story back then. There's certain things that they change in the movie, but Saeed Hanai was sort of a handyman type guy and an Iraq war veteran. And at least in the real life, what set him off was somebody, I guess, propositioned his wife thinking she was a hooker, and led to him going on a rampage, taking out all these sex workers. And I mean, as you can imagine, not the modern area. A lot of people treated him like he was a hero. It really insane if you want to deep dive into the actual case. That there's newspaper articles you can find that just like, oh, he should be given a medal type stuff from what's like mainstream news outlets in Iran. And a lot of similar behavior in the making of this movie. So I believe this was shot in Jordan. At one point they tried to shoot this in Iran, and once you see the movie, the balls that it would take to do this there, because there's people calling for their deaths, as insane as that fucking sounds, over this movie. Zara Mir Ibrahimi, who plays our lead reporter, Rahimi, who goes undercover to try and catch the spider killer. She won the best actress at Cannes, which, congratulations, because she's amazing in this movie, and she's had threats. The director's had threats. So this is one of these things. I can't just praise the performance, but just the guts to make something like this, because there's
the hero behind the real story.
Yeah, it's very it's very ballsy to do this when it's not, you're not just looking at bad reviews, you're looking at potential awful shit that could happen from making this. And I just applaud them, because there's a really important message in this movie. The director, if you're unfamiliar, he actually, ironically, will be reviewing something else coming up, because he directs episode 8 and 9 of Last of Us. So we'll cover that at some point. He also made the IFC Midnight title Shelley, which is probably the other thing that people may or may not have seen. This movie is it's a true crime film, not overly gory or anything, but very disturbing. And it the last part is sort of a courtroom drama, which goes over some of the reaction in Tehran and how it all sort of unfolds. I know it's a little bit different how he actually got caught, but a lot of this is true to life. I mean, it's insane. I would say, in a way, not bloody, not gory, but the ending, the very last scene with the son, is one of the more disturbing things I've seen in a movie. Just when you kind of digest that, and it's very like, oh goddamn, that's nothing's gonna get better kind of deal. If you're into true crime, you should really see this movie. You really, really should. I had a blast. I had no idea who this actual killer was, so that made it even better because I didn't. At a certain point, you've watched a lot of Manson movies, a lot of Bundy movies. There's some compelling stories out there that haven't been told. I know there's a documentary on this that I'm going to have to find. And I know there's at least one other movie that's based on the Spider Killer, but acting from top to bottom is amazing. The actor that plays Saeed, Mehdi Bajestani, fantastic, and also very complex. It's not just they delve into his psyche a little bit more. He's just not frothing at the mouth and just strangling women the whole time. Like, it's a very nuanced performance. I highly recommend this one, but I've sucked it off enough. What do you guys think? Or Todd, what do you think?
Well, I didn't know this was going to be like a Todd week because I'm happy that things. One was we all kind of knew going in. I wasn't familiar with this story either. I just knew it was a serial killer story. Didn't really know the what, so I was basically going in blind on this one. And yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It had me hooked in the first 2 minutes. Because not what I was expecting in a Persian film. But yeah.
Technically, I guess not really. Well, depending how you look at that. A
Yeah,
lot of
I know.
Iranian actors that still live in Iran in this movie too. So, like, damn.
Yeah, I figured since that's where the story and the
It qualifies, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's hard because
Correct.
it's like 8 countries. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I wish really Pugs would have got to see and was here for, but
he needs to watch this. Pugs, if you're listening later, don't miss Holy Spider.
Now that I know there's a documentary and there's another film, we may end up with a true crime episode out of this. So
yeah. There's a couple Iranian serial killers I was kind of looking into. Well, probably more than a couple, but at least with interesting stories out there.
Would he count on this one? Because I mean, was he a hero?
He killed. God, that I'm trying to remember exactly how many he killed, but it's not in my notes. But it's a hell of a story.
Yeah,
it really is.
In your opinion, where would I land on it?
I think you'd like it. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you will 100% like the story, but you'll wish it was a little bit more visceral.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's
always my problem. Not visceral enough.
I think though there's something even more intense about it when you consider where this was made, where it was coming from, and like I said, the overall message at the end. That last scene was so good and so chilling. I really liked it.
You don't always see good parenting on film.
There was also nudity in this.
That's what I said.
I'm no expert on the culture, but that's kind of a big no, I would imagine. So that's
come on. They made a point of saying, when they're not wearing I don't know the proper name of their wraps and stuff. But
hijab.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, sorry.
Yeah, that kind of plays in the story of the film or the whole thing. So
yeah, no. I hope more people see this for sure, because I think it's worth seeing and a must see if you're into true crime.
Absolutely.
All right.
So
I'm curious on this one.
I really don't have any complaints. Don't go in if you're looking for like a hardcore horror movie. But it is certainly a horror movie, and it is certainly horrific and very suspenseful too. The scene where she's actually in his lair, very chilling. I can't think of any complaints. The acting is as perfect as it gets. I'm a 5.
Well, I am 100% with you on this. I'm a 5. It's criminal. This was not in any of the nominations, at least international film, if you're not going to go performances. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
Check it out.
that gives me enough fucking incentive to definitely check it out.
Absolutely. And Brent got some Hannibal Lecter matte wax melts. That sounds pretty cool.
Was that a Christian Hannah horror wax melt purchase?
I was about to ask if that was. Those go so fast. I've meant to buy them like the last 4 times, and it's like, oh, sold out. he's selling them like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter's and like, what do you go with? Do you go like Chianti sort of thing? I don't think fava beans would have a good
fava bean fucking scent. Ew, that sounds nasty. Big Crack Rock asked, Project Wolf Hunting isn't on any streaming services, is it? It will be, I believe. I read this. It's going to be on Screenbox in like a month or so. So
yeah,
okay.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah, they get the well go titles. Yeah, but it is if you want to see it now.
Screenbox is fucking killing it recently.
They're creeping up on someone else.
Like Shudder, they put out a lot more, but when it comes to just like stuff that I personally enjoy, Screenbox have been doing, there's a couple of duds here and there, but they've been doing some good work. So I'm happy that we have enough, like 2 horror streaming services competing with each other. That just I don't know. That's good for the genre, in my opinion. And Ben Grimm says, smells like human meat.
Okay, now well, not better than fava beans, I guess. Oh yes, and that's right. Ben pointed out.
Yeah, go. Ben said anything that goes to Screenbox also goes to Hoopla. So if you if you have a library around you, I believe that's how you're able to get the Hoopla streaming service.
Yeah, and like you don't even have to go to the library to sign up for a library card if you don't have one. You can do it in the app too. But you can do books and other stuff too. But it has to be your library participating, because there's Hoopla and then there's Canopy, and you normally get one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, I think we have some Screenbox reviews coming up on the channel soon.
Yeah, they did. The guy who did, I think it was Ju-on, he just put out his new movie on there, Oxtail Village or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And
maybe
then,
next week.
And then there's also the Yellow Dragon Village that came out.
Oh, so, sweet.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of Asian horror titles, which is nice to see, because Shudder does a good job with that too, but not as they haven't been as consistent recently. And it looks like Screenbox is getting a lot of those titles now. So,
oh, sweet. The more the merrier. Speaking of Shudder, we have a Shudder original next, and in this one, it is Attachment from writer-director Gabriel Bier Gislason. And in this one, Maha, a Danish has-been actress, falls in love with Leah, a Jewish academic from London. Leah suffers a mysterious seizure, and Maja returns with her to London. There she meets Leah's mother, Shana, a woman who holds some very dark secrets. All right, so Attachment. I thought kind of sort of have a Middle Eastern and then Jewish horror film. It kind of made sense, kind of ironic for this episode, and
equal time.
So Attachment, it starts off very much like a rom-com, in a way, and I say that's not a bad thing, because I was into it. This is another one. The acting is fantastic. Ellie Kendrick is Leia, is adorable. Josephine Park is Maha. Definitely looking into her work now. And also the mom, played by Sophie Grabol, is Yana, I think is how you say it. If I'm going to say stuff wrong on this, I
believe it's Yana.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so it starts off very much like this sort of cute romance, and I was very much into it. There's like little hints at something that's not quite right, and it slowly builds. There are some pacing issues. Once it kind of like fully breaks loose with the horror, I felt like it needed a lot more punch at the end. So there's going to be some horror fans that feel this is a little bit too light for them, but I dug it. Again, I was invested in the journey. I think so many of these movies that have some of these sort of, let's just say, paranormal, supernatural themes, it always comes from from Christian folklore. I found more and more it's much more interesting if it's, you know, something, you know, out of an Asian country or Jewish folklore. It helps. It's just it's familiar, but a little less so when you have a different culture that you're not as familiar with.
And I feel like recently there's kind of been like a resurgence, or maybe not necessarily resurgence, but there's been more Jewish horror coming out recently. What was that one that came out last year that was halfway decent? I can't think of it off the top of my head. RLJ put it out. It was like it was similar situation. It was a guy like that was excommunicated from like a Jewish synagogue, and
The Vigil.
Yeah.
Vigil's really good.
I like seeing stuff like this. There's also a really good documentary on Netflix. The name of it escapes me, but it's about those people that the Hasidic Jews that end up like discommunicating themselves from the whole situation, and then like the torment that they have to fucking go through after that, with just the community attacking them at any chance that they get.
Excommunication is pretty rough, and
it's bad. It's bad, dude. But like with the Jewish community too, like there's a really, really bad. I wish I knew what the hell the documentary was. I just watched it a couple of months ago, but it was really sad to see like all these people be all fucked up on drugs and all this shit because of the abuse that they faced when being in that community, and then them getting out. These motherfuckers are just tormenting them any chance they get. And anybody that knows that they're excommunicated from that community is like fucking just going hard on them any chance. It's really, really sad, honestly. Yeah, and I mean, one of the many reasons why I hate fucking religion.
So, yes, religion can be shitty sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what? This is a weird one because there's a lot of, I have my criticisms. Very end, it's just like, you just needed a little bit more. It's a satisfying ending. It doesn't leave you hanging, but
I wouldn't say it's
punch, a little more punch. That's all. Yeah. And it's long enough that I'm like, I needed it at the end.
Well, yeah, this movie, in my opinion, is a little too long. It definitely overstays its welcome, but I surprisingly was really into the characters at the beginning. I don't know what it was about that little romance going on, but I think especially what was the blonde's character? What was her name? Maha. Yeah, or Maja. I loved her character and just what they were bringing with her story. You know, she kind of became. You know, she had a little bit of fame doing this children's book and show thing, but afterwards, you know, she basically was kind of a recluse in her house because of her mother's death, and I really felt for her character and the fact that, you know, she found this new love interest and was just so quick to just go all in. I felt for her because I've been there, and it's sappy as fuck, but it was interesting enough to have me guessing where the story was going to go, especially when we had all the interactions between Maja and what's the other chick's name?
Leia,
her mom, like this creepy stuff with her mom. I thought was really well done, but I agree with you. I really wish that the end of the movie would have stuck the landing, because I felt like we were building up to this big thing that was going to happen at the end, and then I was just like, fuck, that's it. Like, I want to like this movie so much more because the acting is A+. I think the story and the concept is really, really fucking good, but when you're going into a possession angle I needed more out of that, final act. And but overall, like I can't say I hated it or even disliked it.
I liked it quite a bit.
It's just about average for me personally, because as a horror fan, a guy that watches basically just horror movies, I needed more out of it. But I'm interested to see what these actresses are going to do in their future. Like Maya, Leia, and the mom, I thought all were fucking A+. And that mom definitely could be a little bit sinister too, like with her actions throughout the movie.
All of the characters were nuanced. Like you didn't quite know exactly what the motivations were. It really was good.
I forget if he was a rabbi or what he was, but the one
Uncle Lev,
he was really good too. Like I don't know if this is far off, Todd. Maybe you could get, but he reminded me of Pitt a little bit with like his like with his dialogue and his humor and stuff.
Yeah,
like he put these like little dry humor moments in there. I was just like, this reminds me so much of our good friend Pitt.
Especially like in Headless
Entanglement. Yeah, it was just he was really good, and I enjoyed his character a lot as well.
Shout out Pitt by Christmas Cruelty on Blu-ray from Unearthed Films, featuring all of us in the documentary portion of it. So
yeah,
check that out. Another thing, real quick before I tag you in, Todd, that I was thinking with this, I thought this was going to be a very like, okay, lesbian couple, and they're going to go to this area, and the whole thing is going to be more about intolerance and everything. And that's not what the story was.
Not
like, everybody
all.
Was like, we're cool with it. Like it had nothing to do with it.
And they tease it. They tease it throughout it. And then like with the character I was talking about, the uncle, he's just like, no, I don't care at all. Like
we might have some bigger issues.
Yeah, we got some other shit to worry about. Like that's the last thing on my mind is who you're fucking. So I thought that was really cool because they could have hit it on the it could have been totally on the nose and went that route, and they didn't. So I appreciated it.
Todd, what did you think?
Excuse me. I'm kind of like I think I liked the first half more.
Yeah, that's how I was too.
Yeah, and you were saying it's like the second half where we actually get into the religious part. You lose me with that, but yeah, I was really into the girls and what was going on. Yeah, it's when the change it kind of lost me. I didn't hate it, but yeah, and then the end really does. Well, you get a conclusion that falls flat.
Yeah, I was expecting a big, Exorcist style ending, where everything's just going batshit insane, and it's very tame, which I was a little bit disappointed in. But I can't fault them for the story. I thought the story was just really good. It just needed a little more pizzazz at the end for that horror fan.
Yeah.
I agree. Yet at the same time, I see a lot of people maybe sitting down and watching this and being like, I actually kind of dug it.
Well, I think if people like those more, tamer horrors that, where you don't need somebody's head doing a 360 around vomiting on a priest style thing, like in order to enjoy it. I can see people actually really liking this one a lot, especially if you connect with the characters. I think that's personally why I liked it so much, was because of how much I connected with that Maja character.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, somebody mentioned Project Wolf Hunting being a Valentine's Day watch. This is another one. Good date watch.
Yeah.
There you go. If you showed them Project Wolf Hunting and they got really upset, then this can be your redemption film. And once again, I'll always throw it out because it's the sure thing. Spring. So you want to make your lady happy, have a romantic evening, watch Spring. All right. So moving on to our next film.
We got rated, dude.
Oh, we do. Fuck. I'm off. Run to the bathroom, then I forget everything. All right. So man, I don't have any major complaints about this one, but it is held back a little bit by just not delivering maybe a little bit of razzle dazzle at the end. I'm 3, but yet I will probably pick this one up if it gets to Blu-ray. So it's definitely above average, and I think it could have been much more.
I am a 2.5 out of 5, and that's actually a way higher rating than I thought I was going to end up going with this. But I can't deny the acting and the characters that I connected with. I just wish the story would have delivered a little bit more in that final act.
See, the acting and the characters like just barely got it above average for me. But I mean, all my complaints are the same, really. But I'm just a 3.
3, gotcha.
Yes, and the chat will be confusing tonight if you haven't seen Irreversible. So,
yeah.
I haven't even found a way to slip in a rectum damn near killed him joke yet.
Oh, Jesus,
I was waiting.
It ran through my head, but I'm like, I'm not dad joking in the chat, so I just have to go.
So you're a pretty bad dad if you're like throwing out irreversible jokes.
No, I think that would be.
I mean, that means you're a great dad. What the fuck are you on?
Well,
all right. The strobes and the spinning camera is making me sick. Don't be a pussy, son. Get through the 90 minutes. All right.
Birthday theme.
Holy shit.
All right. Moving on next to a Western horror movie, which I'm a big fan of. We'll talk a little bit about that because I'm a big fan of blending Westerns into horror and sci-fi.
Bone Tomahawk, bro. Like that's the gold standard for me.
Absolutely. So we'll name drop some of those, but because this is a little bit confusing because there are other Western horror movies with this title. This is 2023's Ghost Town from writer, director Owen Conway. And I'll have some streaming information for you after I read the synopsis. So, in the untamed West of Victorian-era America, a drifter takes a job as a barman in a small town. After a series of bizarre deaths, he soon finds himself the target of suspicion. All right. So, Ghost Town is on digital, DVD, and on demand on March 7th. And, all right. So,
from Uncorked Entertainment.
Sorry, forgot.
I was trying to cover for you.
Yeah, that works. They know I get confused. All right. So first off, before we get into the movie, because I am a big fan of Western horror. Kruger, of course, mentions a really good one. I also wanted to throw out though, Dead Birds is a fantastic film. The Wind, which we reviewed a while back, The Burrowers, which is fucking awesome.
I need to see that, dude. The Burrowers have been on my fucking watch list for like fucking 10 years.
You bump that one up. I'm surprised you haven't seen Burrowers. That's a good one. If I'm throwing out schlock, I'm a big fan of The God Monster of Indian Flats, the mutant sheep movie. I do like that one quite a bit.
Mutant sheep? Is that
sheep?
Oh, sheep. I thought fucking Iron Sheik fucking coming in as a mutated motherfucker. Fuck you.
Nothing beats the 1988 Ghost Town poster, though.
Oh yeah, and that Ghost Town's available from Scream Factory on Blu-ray. That might be out of print, maybe. I'd have to double check.
No, it's New World, so I think that's one that they bought.
Okay, sweet.
But that's late New World, not Corman New World. It could be out of print then.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of like Asylum did, Death Valley, The Revenge of Bloody Bill, and there's a lot. Blood Moon is a werewolf horror movie.
From Dusk Till Dawn 3.
Absolutely. Ravenous, also one of the greats that falls under that. There's a lot. Dead 7, if you want a shitty Asylum movie, that's the one with all the boy bands, zombie Western movie. I didn't like it. A lot of people tell me I need to rewatch it, but maybe it's not having an affinity for NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys.
I don't either. And
yeah. You weren't like kind of doing the Tank Abbott thing where you were like the ironic fan, like just
No.
saying,
I
some
well, I mean,
WCW
yeah,
fan
three
will
three
watch
count
this.
was the shit, but they are an exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the Meaty Cheesy Boys. They used to do the Jack in the Box commercials and sing about ultimate cheeseburgers.
That's
And
awesome.
Ben brought up Gallo Walkers with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that was his last one before he went to jail. In fact, I think some of that kind of screwed that movie up a little bit, but if I remember right. The other thing that does kind of compare it to this, although it's more of a budget, 1999's Purgatory. It was a TNT original movie. I guess we could call it a supernatural tinged Western, not an out and out horror movie, but that one I always liked. It had a great cast: Sam Shepard, Randy Quaid, Eric Roberts. I know Peter Stormare was in there, Donnie Wahlberg. That one's worth checking out.
I'll have to seek that one out. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, like I said, supernatural tinged. It's not out and out horror, but it's a really good, from an era where the TNT originals tended to be really good movies. So this Ghost Town, one thing I kind of enjoyed about it is there's not that focus on sort of like the tip. I mean, some Western tropes are there, but it's not like the gunslinger sort of character. We focus a little bit more on the some of the prostitutes, and which is never a bad thing. And our lead is, he's not a badass or anything. Solomon, played by Owen Conway, by the way, who's also the writer and director, who's acted in a bunch of other low budget horror movies and some different things. I've seen him before. And so for being a very low budget movie, because locations are really limited in this one. I mean, you got like 3. It's all, you can kind of tell they were probably maybe not fully able to pull off an Old West town. They only had a couple like good angles on that. But it works. They do a pretty good job of making that all work. The acting is what I would say is above par for this type of movie at this budget range. In fact, Becky Jo Harris, who plays Stella, our sort of, I guess, hooker with the heart of gold type character, she was really, really good. Honestly, everybody acting wise in this was very good. And it does have some low budget issues. There is a creature, although it's not a creature feature, but there's a creature that pops up at one point that looks kind of goofy. It's not a major part of the movie, so it's kind of easy to overlook it. And there are those digital bullet hits, which look really bad. It's not really an action movie, so there's not. I mean, again, it's limited screen time, but it is very distracting, and I get it. People hate that shit, and I do too. But I kind of had a good time with this one overall. I thought the boss at the bar was a real asshole and pretty
Believable.
entertaining. Yeah, very very believable. He's like still like chewing you out, and I did pop for the line, this here house is for shitting. That was pretty funny. He was kind of channeling I forget the Schweringer, the Deadwood character, a little bit, which I thought was cool. I was a big Deadwood fan. This one doesn't quite stick the landing with the story for me, which I think if they did, I'd be able to recommend it a little bit more if you do like these sort of Westerns. But as far as tone goes, I'd say a little more Purgatory 1999, which it's been a while since I've watched that, but I do always remember enjoying it quite a bit. A really good Eric Roberts movie from an era where you didn't get a ton of those. Todd, what did you think of Ghost Town?
I was really surprised because, we watch a lot of these in this budget range, and more times than not, it's a chore.
Mhm.
This one, I don't think it was. I think the characters and the story, I mean, it works. Everything works well. I mean, if it had the budget, I think this would have. If it had the budget, see, I think the acting is so good. I mean, it would have made a difference because I think it would see a wider audience.
Yeah,
But
that's rare too. Like when you are talking like something that was very, very low budget for everybody. Like I can't point to anybody and said that was a bad performance, which is pretty impressive to be honest, having made like very low budget stuff.
yeah,
So yeah.
and it's a character piece, so it's you have like the minimal settings and a lot of dialogue, but like I was never bored. I was always interested in the story. I didn't have a problem with the ending either. I'm definitely going to pick this one up, and I would 100% watch it again.
You could say maybe the title gives away a little bit too much, but at the same time, I wish they had stuck the ending a little bit more. But it's ambitious. If you like westerns, I can still recommend this one. It's probably something that I would imagine at some point might also be on Tubi. You never know. But digital DVD and on demand March 7th. So check it out. And maybe we'll do a Western horror show at some point. I think that might actually be fun. We never did that even on the old show. So
No.
that might be cool. So, all right.
What do you give it, Dan?
I give this one 2.5. Could have gone a little bit higher if it, just those little things, those few digital bullet hits and the ending. Yeah. What about you?
This was a hard one for me because of how much I liked it, but it's also, I'm not going to stand it up to, certain things. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Oh.
I was really close to a 4, but because my complaints are just the things that were discussed. Those are my only real complaints. And the ending, yeah, that kind of does knock it down. So 3.5.
Okay, well that's higher than I thought. So yeah, check that one out, and hopefully we gave you some good horror, supernatural, Western options there. There are a lot more too, but maybe we'll do some of the more obscure ones. I want to do God Monster of Indian Flats. We gotta make that happen.
Oh damn! Would House 2 be a Western horror? Yeah, you could argue that.
Definitely elements. Yeah, that'd be.
Oh, I love some House 2.
I still have never seen any of the House movies.
We'll have
Kruger.
to fix that. Yeah, that's an easy franchise show.
I mean,
Burrowers.
there is a 4K fucking collection coming out, I think, from Arrow pretty soon. So,
what?
Yeah, I thought I read that somewhere that Arrow was putting out a 4K box
Not
House movies.
That wasn't inside info, was it? No, was it announced? Okay, I don't know. But there is a Blu-ray set out there that's region free for people. The UK set, which that's the only one that as of now has
House 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Well, technically, there's a US House 3 under the horror show, but it is rated.
Yeah, that's a really cool set, and it's always been a fairly cheap set too. So
yeah,
that one always goes on sale for about $40.
Yeah, you may want to.
Okay, Slasher said it was announced.
Oh,
and that's
cool.
for all of the films or just the first one, a la the Children of the Corn set or the Ju-On set?
I always
I'm pretty
shit that I hear about ahead of time, and then in my head I'm like, oh god, I didn't just fuck it up. Okay.
Well, I fucking said it, so
wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
There you go. You can yell at Kruger, but that might not be a good idea. So on to, I guess, well, the main movie event. We are also going to talk Last of Us episode 6 at the end, though. So yes. So our movie tonight is this one's kind of hard to spoil, really, by the nature of it. But I guess we might be a little more spoilery with
there's no way not to, because no matter how you look at it, the ending of this one is the beginning of that one, and the ending. So either way,
Yeah,
It's just
spoiled
if you
somehow.
haven't seen Irreversible, fucking first
Either
off,
way.
go watch it, and then also like sorry if you get spoiled on a little bit, but I mean I think if you know about this fucking movie, you know what it's about.
Yeah, it's an experience.
Yeah, I mean I can't even like it's not even just like a movie. It's a total like just mind fuck of a visceral whirlwind down a dark black hole.
Absolutely. So, for those unfamiliar, Irreversible is a 2002 film from writer director Gaspar Noe. And in this one, Alex and Marcus are a couple whose story is told over the course of a fateful day. The odyssey begins with a brutal killing, then unspools in reverse to reveal the horrifying events that lead to the gut-wrenching, violent climax of the opening scene. Irreversible's
So Dan's obviously reading the wrong description.
Yeah, well,
that's the description I've got, but
but this movie,
I'm getting to it.
Well,
let Dan go.
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Todd. All right. Irreversible's disturbing look at fate and destiny pushes the envelope of human emotions and takes filmmaking to another level. Now, I was going to say I rewatched both versions because I think it kind of. This is the straight cut, which is linear.
Which is why you should have read that description.
I did both. I'm just. God damn it, Todd.
With Irreversible, the original movie, everything is told backwards. Basically, the last scene of the movie is the first scene of the movie, and then you find out what led to that, what led to that, what led to that. And the version that we are reviewing tonight is all of that reversed, so it's in chronological order of what the actions that were taking place happened. And yeah, fucking. I mean, I could start off with this. I've been such a big fan of this movie since I first watched it, for the sure fact that there's very few movies that really, really make me uncomfortable, and this is one of them that does. It has one of the most graphic assault scenes in cinema history. I don't think there's anything that's ever
most realistic, I would say.
Yeah, very realistic, and like every time I watch that scene, it fucking hits me to my core and really fucking irks me because of how authentic it feels.
And 9 minutes too.
It's so long and so drawn out. I know there's a lot of criticism of this movie because of that, but the point of that scene is to make you fucking just feel for the character that's being assaulted, and also just it's to shock your system, basically. And with the movie being told in reverse, we start off with probably the most graphic fucking face smashing scene ever. There's very few that will ever top that, and then you find out why that happened to that guy. So watching this in chronological order, I was very interested to see how I was going to take everything in, because I love this movie. I've always thought of it as one of the most visceral and fucked up extreme. I mean, I don't even. It is. You could kind of say it's a horror movie, but I mean, it's so much. It's so much more than that. And watching everything take place from the last scene in the movie to the first scene in reverse, it was really cool. I feel like watching the straight cut, you feel more for the characters. Personally, especially when you know what's going on with the woman who's the victim of the assault in the film. And man, this was kind of a treat, because I was at first it really threw me off. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to gel with all of this. There's a lot of like kind of sappiness in the beginning, but
I was like, wait, am I playing it the right way? It took me a minute too.
Yeah, it threw me for a loop just knowing, it being in reverse the whole time. But man, I think this movie's a fucking masterpiece. I love this movie in reverse, in fucking chronological order, whatever the fuck. The acting is so great. The characters, I think, are fucking just super interesting. And to see the way it plays out in reverse or in chronological order, whatever you want to call it, I think it brought more to the ex-boyfriend's character a little bit. And you definitely see how it all escalates up to that amazing kill sequence in the final act with watching it in the straight cut. And yeah, I mean, I love this movie. It's definitely not a movie I can revisit all the time because of how fucking just disgusting it is. And it's brutal. Like there's very few, like I said, there's very few movies that affect me and make me very uncomfortable, but this is one of them. And for that, I think it's an extreme masterpiece, and one of the many reasons why Gaspar is one of the best working in the industry today.
Todd, do you want to go next, or do you want to be the main event? Because I'm sure you watch this like every week.
Yeah, I'm saying
You
like
want me
this
to
is one
go?
I can't rewatch, and this is on Todd's fucking weekly watch list.
All right, I know Todd's gonna have the most to say, so
I don't think I will, but
so just Gaspar Noé in general. He's always been known for those long, unending shots, strobes. Also, which you won't pick up on a home format, but the low frequency sound, which was a big issue with this movie. Like this one really, like there were people that got sick in the theater back in 02, 03. So Gaspar Noé was actually born in Argentina, and he's of course become a staple of French cinema. He was inspired by 2001: A Space Odyssey, which you can certainly see that in his work. I have conflicted feelings about Gaspar Noé because Lux Eterna for me was almost unwatchable. Not that it's not a good film, but I couldn't even look at the screen at that point because it's like 10, 15 minutes, whatever it was, of just the strobes, where that was really hard. I think he's almost gone too overboard with it, where I'm like, I'm not sick because of the movie or the content. I'm just sick because I can't focus on the fucking screen. So he's a great filmmaker, but sometimes I am a little bit conflicted. A lot of people consider Irreversible his most disturbing movie. I disagree. I would actually give that to the 1998 film I Stand Alone, which there is crossover because the character of the butcher in that film is in, the end scene for the straight cut, or the first scene for the original cut. And a lot of people are unaware of that, but if you are into his films, you can watch I Stand Alone. I Stand Alone is very fucked up, very sexually fucked up in a somewhat different way, and that tie-in is kind of interesting. As far as Irreversible goes, I'm going to be honest, I don't like the straight cut. And my reasoning for that is I think a lot of the uniqueness of the movie is taken away by making it a linear experience. I get it. Like if you're a big fan, it's kind of a fun novelty, but what makes it different was the fact of how it unfolded, which happened because there was a film in 2000, which most people will be familiar with, called Memento with Guy Pearce, which was a big surprise indie hit. And that was part of the reason why why Irreversible unfolded the way it did. A lot of people put this in there with the French extremity movement. It's a little bit before we got that wave of Martyrs, Inside, Malefique, them, where it was just like High Tension, of course, where it was just like classic after classic after, or at least very, very good horror movies. And I don't mind lumping it in there. Look, it is hard to watch. It's a 9-minute scene. I get what Kruger's saying as far as like you develop the more emotional connection in a way, the linear way, because we don't get a lot of time with Monica Bellucci's character in the original cut, where it's just like it's an awful scene. Not so much, like I said, in terms of what it shows. I think actually the worst part was some of the dialogue, which was really demeaning when she's being assaulted. Some people might have different ideas. I know that's like up there with like the most brutal scenes in horror history. May not hit the same way. It's very upsetting, but I think some people think, oh, it's like really, gory. It's just realistic, and yeah. I think this is maybe the third time I've watched this film. Well, technically, I watched it twice just today because I watched both cuts.
That's all. That seems
uh,
low.
but yeah, I'm not a diehard fan of this. In fact, out of some of the movies I referenced, it'd be lower tier. But as far as the straight cut goes, I don't think it was necessary. I didn't need it personally. But how about you, Todd? I'm curious. I could see you going either way.
I 100% agree. I don't think it was necessary, but the editor in me, and ever since I saw this movie, I've wanted to experience what it would be like to watch it in chronological order. I now know that. Is it going to be my go-to version? No, but I think it does have something to offer because you're taking a different experience, a different ride. So, you get to connect to Monica Bellucci's character more.
Well, and you get more character development, in my opinion. With not even just her character, but like I said, with her ex-boyfriend, that's a part of the story.
Yeah,
it makes sense why that final scene happened and why he was the one doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when we're watching it in the original form, you're kind of like trying to figure out how it goes because you're going back, so you're kind of putting it together in your brain. So it's a totally different viewing experience. I could see some people who don't like the non-linear experience enjoying this. But yeah, I mean, it really does change what the movie is. The scene still hits hard. Yeah, I do. I like both cuts. It's not my go-to cut, or I don't think it will be. But it is one that I do like either way. And I do have Pug's comments.
Oh, real quick before you do that, since he had the audacity of actually working tonight when we're reviewing this movie, I demand that his nickname be Sweet Hole for 2 weeks. That's his punishment. People who've seen the movie get it. But.
Jesus Christ. Here I am thinking we're being fucking very good that Dan fucking pulls that out of his ass.
I know. Well, better than going in.
Jesus.
Irreversible, backwards or forwards, is one of the sexiest films ever made.
Good
Hashtag. No.
Yeah.
Now read that part.
Oh my God.
He's joking.
I didn't even say what the hashtag was.
Yeah, no.
Ozzy would have just kept reading like he's fucking Ron Burgundy. Where was I? He had a 5 out of 5 every time.
Okay. Well, there we go. I don't think there's any surprises there. Yeah, when I first heard about it, I know a lot of people were excited. And again, this is not like I recognize it's a great film, but it's not one I revisit very often because, I don't need that gut punch that often. But I just, when they announced it, I was just like, man, I just don't. I can see it basically in my head, and I don't know why you would want or need that.
Well, see, it's funny because it was an extra basically on like the Blu-ray set and the UK one, and then they just decided to release it. I think it feels more like an extra than it does like a feature on its own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and definitely if you're gonna watch this for the first time, certainly you want to watch the original version. In fact, what do you think it would have been like if they just put it out as the straight cut back in 0203?
I still would have gave it 5 stars.
I don't think it would have the same impact. I mean, it would still have somewhat of a reputation as a a rough watch and an extreme horror film, I don't think we would be talking about it the same way, though.
I would.
Well, you might, but I don't think the horror fans in general would be talking about it if it was released that way. I could be wrong, and weigh in the comments.
It's still pretty rough. I get it. It's hard from the viewing experience you've had. I mean, you've already had it, but I think it's rough enough and extreme enough to have definitely staying power. Kruger, does it give you the things you would have wanted in going in the linear form? You get your gore, you get your other stuff, you get your violence.
Yeah, but with the like watching it chronologically, it builds to that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then watching the other stuff, it kind of just smacks all that bullshit in your face right away.
Right.
So, like, it's hard for me to pick like what's a better.
No. See, I don't think what's better. I think if you would have saw that cut, it would have been you would have been happy with it, never just having this cut.
I mean, either way, I think I would have been happy with it.
Okay, that's what I'm not. Which is better? Just would you've still had that?
Yeah, no, I think both ways. I mean, I personally think this way you're able to get more out of those scenes because you know more about the characters. But at the same time, you know, when I first watched Irreversible, those scenes right away are what drove me to want to see where the rest of the story was coming out of.
Yeah. Monica Bellucci, also timeless, still as beautiful as ever, and rough movie to shoot, man. I can only imagine. What was I gonna say? Oh, also some people say like continuous shots, but obviously, you know, when you're panning up and doing all that to the lights, I mean, I was just throwing it out there. That does hide. There are cuts.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that, and I was like, no, there are, but nonetheless, a unique experience. It's kind of one of those movies. As long as you have the appetite for it, you got to watch just once, at least just once. And I would stick with the original cut. But you got some different opinions here, so
no, I don't think anyone said to watch the other one first.
No, I think you need to watch it. Like the watching it in the way it was originally intended is the way to go, because you know that's just the experience of it. I mean, and the fucking title of the movie is Irreversible. I mean, it plays into the whole gimmick. But watching it this way, just it made me feel a stronger connection with everybody that I didn't have before watching it the traditional format.
Right. Well, we know Pugs is a 5.
Yeah, I'm a 5 too. Like in reverse, in forward, it's a fucking masterpiece.
I am. Yeah, I'm a 5 for the original cut. I am a 3 for I just don't think it works the same way.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's different viewing experience.
Yeah.
And front or back, either or.
What's your guys' favorite
5
French extreme? Oh, sorry.
5.
I already knew the answer, so
I know. Just
what's your guys' favorite French extreme?
For me personally, I mean, Martyrs is, I think, like the
you
best
give it the edge over Inside.
Yeah, for sure. In my opinion,
yeah.
Martyrs, when I first watched it, it fucked me up for a while. Like it really, like not even just the gore, but the final scene of that movie, I think is just so fucking well done and just amazing, especially with my own personal beliefs when it comes to the afterlife. You know what I mean? There's a lot of up in the air, but I have my own interpretation of what happened in that scene, and I just think it's a fucking. Also, the guy who did Martyrs, I think he's fucking super talented. I wish we got more from him. I know he did Incident in a Ghostland, right? I believe that was him, right?
No. Or no? Yes, Incident in a Ghostland. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking Prisoner of the.
No, yeah, Incident in a Ghostland, which is another movie that's super fucked up and super awesome. So Yeah, Martyrs is my gold standard when it comes to just extreme horror in general. It's in my top 20 favorite films of all time.
Yeah, it's hard to give it the edge over Inside, but they're so close. Like I said, that period was just kind of insane. Not that it's like a ton of movies, but it's just the quality of them all and the fact that they're some of the best of the
Yeah,
last
off the
20
top of
years.
my head, what was it? Like Inside, Martyrs, Frontiers was up there too.
Oh, Frontiers I didn't mention. Yeah, Frontiers is amazing.
My pick, High Tension.
Oh yeah, High Tension as well.
See,
Yeah.
I can't put High Tension over. It also, I mean, not the most original story. In fact, yeah. Well, we'll get into that maybe on another show. But
Still
I mean,
my
I
pick.
get it.
Why don't we do a fucking French
Recently.
extreme? Yeah, you know what I mean.
can
We
do
should do
that
a
at
French
some point.
extreme horror. I mean, I've never reviewed Martyrs on the show, so I'm always down.
It's also on Shudder right now. This one's like towards the bottom of the list, but Malefique, which came out around that same time, that's on Shudder right now. If you want a more obscure one, I think they
Not
had
familiar
them.
with that one.
I think them might have been up there at one point. I don't know if it still is, but yeah, Frontiers. I mean, holy shit!
Frontiers is like French Texas Chainsaw on crack.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
That's a
fucking
good
movie.
one too.
Ben Livid, as far as asking when Livid will get a U.S. release. I have no idea what the problem is there. I feel like somebody's gonna put that out at some point. Because I don't think I've ever heard what the problem was with that. So hopefully we'll get a proper release of it. So yeah, guys, on the comments, if you're not listening to this live, drop some of your favorite extreme horror films in general. We always enjoy hearing about that.
Yeah,
and
that's my alley, man.
there you go. And also a place where you can communicate with us is our Discord, the Flesh Wound Features Discord. It's very active. There's of course us, a lot of other podcasters in there too, and discussions get interesting there.
It's definitely a interesting community to be a part of. So make sure if you want to join, click the link in the description. Always welcoming new members into our Discord. And yeah, active as fuck. Like I'm proud as fuck of that, because I've been in other Discord servers where like there's like days that go by that nobody's interacting, but every day you motherfuckers come through and are talking about some crazy shit. So I thank all our members in the Discord server for keeping it nice and active as well.
Everything from cheeseburgers to horror movies to Cthulhu butt plugs. You get it all on the Flesh Wound Features Discord. And also patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. It all starts at just $1. I know we're way behind schedule, but we are going to start doing the Secret Santa picks, which if you're unfamiliar, you can watch the selection show for that.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say this because I didn't even fucking talk about it with you guys beforehand, but I will just say probably the beginning of April, there'll be a very special Patreon video coming out that you're really going to want to check out if you're a fan of us. So
okay, that sounds fun. Yeah, I feel
like it feels like we're rapping, yet we haven't talked about The Last of Us yet.
We're not rapping. We're not
okay.
Rapping. We are talking Last of Us.
I mean, we got a plug before spoilers, so
there we go.
Yes.
I don't know. I just felt like Dan was forgetting, like he skipped a couple ratings that I
did not forget.
No.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else to plug. Of course, we will be back next week. We don't have a full roster of reviews yet, but maybe we'll hit some of those things on Screenbox. We will have, of course, the Cocaine Bear review and some other cool stuff coming your way.
Full list somewhere, but
okay, yeah, I'm excited for next week. All right, so Last of Us episode 6, Kin. We are talking spoilers, guys, so if you have not watched it yet, you may want to mute us for a while or bow out. Kruger, what did you think about this one? I haven't talked to a whole lot of people about this yet, but from what I understand, this stays fairly close to the games.
Yeah,
this
for
particular
sure.
episode.
Do we want to put the spoiler thing
I'm
up?
doing it right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I was waiting.
No, no worries. Yeah, no, it definitely does stay very, very close to the game. But I think the town, they got the aesthetic and everything just down perfectly. I mean, they've done that though throughout this whole series. But out of all the episodes, I would say that this was one of the more tamer ones. It goes a lot more into the dramatic aspects of the story. So not a lot of clickers or amazing creature effects or anything like that, but the character development going on with Joel's character is really interesting. And I feel for him. He's so scared about fucking losing Elle like he did his daughter. And and obviously he blames himself for his daughter's death, which is honestly really fucking sad because it wasn't his fault either. So the whole interaction with him and Elle in that room, I thought was just amazing. Like, she's just like, I fucking have lost people too, asshole. Like, you may look at me as a kid, but you have no idea what the fuck I've gone through. And that interaction was just everything to me. And then to just watch the way the story plays out, they end up, going on that horse ride and shooting guns and just bonding, to the point where I think Joel isn't going to be able to leave her. So, like, am I good? My microphone's giving me shit.
You went into low quality mic there.
Fuck. Somebody pick it up while I'm fixing it.
Dad,
That's okay. I'll pick up. So yeah, I also like, because we jump ahead 3 months after Henry shot himself in the last episode, and we get kind of a change of scenery. It's winter now, and big shout out, one of my favorite character actors, kind of like a that guy kind of name, Graham Greene, the Canadian character actor legend who you've seen in many things, has a small little role at the beginning. Kind of curious if he comes back. I mean, this is certainly a show that's not afraid to introduce notable actors and then just like, nope, you're dead. Which we saw with Melanie Linsky, who I was like, oh, okay, that's the new big bad, and nope, dead. So they kind of still subvert expectations in many ways, which I like. And that short scene with Graham Greene and the actress that plays his wife, I laughed at the "you made him soup" line. I don't know, that one just kind of got me. And Daily Ghost is in the chat, which, by the way, sub to Daily Ghost's podcast because he has one on YouTube. Yeah, I wasn't totally sold at the beginning either. I was like, okay, this is good, but this also kind of feels like the typical zombie stuff, which I'm fine with. But amazingly enough, like, this show kind of keeps surprising me so far. And I know nothing about the games, which is kind of nice. As Kruger was saying, this particular episode is very close to it. He finds his brother, which, again, I was like, okay, that's going to probably be like the end of the season sort of thing. And no, we get that here. I also enjoyed Retina Wesley of True Blood popping on here as the brother's, I believe, wife or girlfriend. I don't know if it's specified or if I missed it.
It was the wife.
Okay. So, yeah, a lot of really heavy emotion in this. It's kind of like open now. It's like, yeah, I like you, kid. Like, sort of thing. I'm into it. This show is really, really good. I hope they can keep up the momentum. I really do. I kind of like that it's a little bit less because we don't get any zombie action in this episode. And I think that helps, actually. Yeah. Where are you at right now, Todd?
Well, Kruger, how's your mic?
I'm good.
I think. Okay. All right, Kruger. I was just, you're good. I was just stalling for you.
No, I mean, I think I said everything I needed to say. Like, this isn't one of my favorite episodes just because, you know, we didn't get a lot of creature effects or anything like that. But when it comes to character development and where we're going with the story and where I know we're going to eventually fucking end up, this is going to be one of those episodes we're going to look back on and be like, wow, okay, this is where all this was starting. And I mean, the show in general is fucking great. I just, out of all the episodes I've watched so far, I think this has been my least favorite, but that's not to say it's not still awesome.
It's a necessary episode for the
Yes.
story.
Yes.
And I was fine with that. I was really into the story. I like that it feels familiar, but it feels different. And it's made for a really fun ride so far, and I can't wait to see what happens. And I'm also with Dan. I'm glad I don't know where we're going from the game. So
yeah. I mean, I know I don't know. I'm certainly fairly close to positive that Joel's not dead because it's not that definitive sort of ending.
Yeah.
That reminds me. Fucking the scene where he falls off the horse. Fucking, I swear to God, somebody needs to do a picture in picture straight out of the video game, dude. The dialogue too was exactly what Ellie was saying. Oh, that was probably my favorite part of the whole thing, just because I know the video game, and that was just like such a oh fuck moment in the game, and they translate it perfectly in the series as well. But yeah, I definitely say it's safe to say that he's not dead, but he's probably really fucked up, and that's going to play out into some interesting situations that we're going to get in the next couple episodes.
You know, they're kind of alluding to heart stuff, but I don't know. I was kind of getting a vibe that it was more like panic attack stuff.
Oh, no, it's 100% panic attacks, I think. I don't remember him having a heart problem. My mom was saying that shit because her and I have been watching it together, and she's really she's loving it, and you know she has no thing with the video game. But I was watching it, I was like, yeah, I think he's having like really bad anxiety attacks because I don't remember him having a heart problem in the game. I could be wrong. I mean, I played the game when it first came out in like 2013, so that's fucking Jesus Christ. How long is that now? Fucking 9 years ago. But yeah, it's definitely probably more anxiety attacks than a heart issue, if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong though, and anybody that's watching this, please tell me I'm full of shit.
Okay, yeah, no, I mean, even then, I was like, oh shit, well, like, I mean, Pedro Pascal's a very popular, busy actor right now. I was like, that'd be one hell of a. I didn't think they do it right now though, considering you're coming off of some shocking deaths anyways. So I was like, I don't think they would do this here. They might do it certainly with the tone of this show, but we at least get season 2. The only thing that scares me again is just HBO right now. Like it's the last channel I kind of want this on right now, but it's pretty universally popular right now. It's rare nowadays with TV shows where it's usually pretty split. And I've been seeing mostly positivity for this, which is really cool. So
they'll turn hard at some points.
Well, even like I mean, you usually have the crowd that complains because of the gay characters and everything, and maybe it's just my bubble, but I haven't heard a lot of that. Like most people seem to like it, even people that I would think would normally bitch about it. So I don't know. It seems to be doing really well. We haven't had a phenomenon in a little bit, it seems like, with television. So maybe this is going to be that.
Yeah, my only thing is like, this is going to probably be short lived. Fucking the second season is supposed to be the second video game from what I've heard. So, I mean, it's going to be wrapped up in probably a couple of seasons. It's going to be one of those things where you're really going to miss it when it's gone. So I'm just glad it's happening. And I'm glad they're putting so much effort. Did you see the amazing behind the scenes photos of the bloater suit from, I think it was the last episode, episode 5?
No, I haven't looked
Oh, dude,
stuff yet.
the fucking suit cost literally $500,000 fucking dollars and like was just a straight up like fucking 100, like those old school kaiju suits you had to fucking work through when you were playing Godzilla back in the day. It was one of those. It was like 100 fucking pounds and it was just really difficult to work with. But the fact that they went that route and then, you know, added all the visual stuff after made it look fucking amazing. I'm so high, like we haven't even scratched the surface on the creatures in this motherfucker yet, dude. Like there's some stuff coming that is going to blow people's minds. I know it's gonna really, really make me happy if they do.
I think it earns its big action scenes so far. Like it'd be a little bit more like standard if it was just nonstop.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
Last episode where the car like just sinks into the ground and it's like, oh shit.
And then all the clickers coming up out, like, dude, the episode 5 was probably my favorite so far, just because it got the visuals done so right. But there's so much in the game that is just it's incredibly well done from a video game aspect. And just to see all of this play out on screen and knowing what I know where the game's going to take us, it's going to fucking fuck some of you guys up really bad. I can tell you that much. There's already been some tear-jerking moments already in the series, but it's just going to get worse from here, guys.
Get
your tissues ready.
You use the term clickers, and this isn't connected or anything, but just for you monster fans and horror book fans out there, there is a series called Clickers from the late JF Gonzalez and Brian Keene that's worth checking out if you like monster stuff.
Is it about mushroom people?
No, but it's a really good, like, if you're a kaiju fan, just monster horror fan in general, it's a really fun series to check out.
I know I've said this before, but I want to say it again. If you are really enjoying this, go watch that fucking movie Gaia, because it feels like such a prequel to the series. And it has the creatures in the Gaia movie are directly inspired from The Last of Us, and it's very similar thing with fungus and all that going on. I highly recommend that movie. It was one of my favorite movies of 2021. I think it actually was number 2 on my list behind Psycho Gorman. And I think it's a masterpiece. And it kind of sucks that we had The Last of Us so shortly come out afterwards, because it's totally going to eclipse what that movie did. But it was inspired by The Last of Us, and they made a good artsy A24 style horror with that thing, and I had such a good time with it. And also, not just that, if you enjoy this shit, go back in the well a little bit to the 1960s and watch Ishihiro Honda's Mantango, another movie about mushroom people. You got to check that shit out, because similar stuff going on.
We got a lot of eco horror, like towards the beginning of lockdown. Gaia, In the Earth, which isn't as good. But, there was a strong little period there for eco horror.
And I'm just having a good time watching it all play out now into a series. Like I said, Gaia. I can't remember. I think it was Edward or Evil Ed. He said that, like, at the end of Gaia, if they would have just put The Last of Us prequel, it would have fucking fit perfectly. And I stand by that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish that would get a good Blu-ray.
It has a German one that I bought, but you have to be region free, unfortunately, for that. If not, you can go the DVD route. And for the most part, I think the DVD is pretty solid. But I'd like a really good, nice Blu-ray set to come out for that movie, because I think it's a fucking masterpiece.
Absolutely. So on that note, guys, we will be back here again, of course, probably sooner, but next week where we will have the Cocaine Bear review amongst many other things. Also, check me out this Sunday on Stone Gasman's podcast, friend of the show, for Dark City, one of my all-time favorites. And I believe Cable Channel 11, Jess is going to be doing a show on the Candyman films, I believe. Not sure what time, but you can check that out as well. Once again, also check out thexpwwrestling.com. Right, Todd? I always forget. Check that out.
And stream XPW TV.
Stream XPW TV as well. I think XPW is going to be very interesting.
Oh, wait. Is there an Easter egg?
You can take spoilers down now, by the way.
Oh, yeah. From this week's episode?
Easter egg.
Like from the game.
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I'm sure there is, but
okay.
Just checking.
Yeah, sorry, dude. It's been a while. Like I thought when we were watching this, like I'm like, fuck, I should start playing the game so I can, get the same experience. But my problem is they fucking remade the goddamn video game like last year. And I want to play the remake instead of playing the original now. And it's not like a massive remake. It's just mainly like mechanics and graphics and stuff. But I heard it's great. And like, it doesn't differ too much from the story.
Video game adaptations are not often known for like compelling stories. So this is probably the best story.
That's what made the video game so amazing. It was one of those. I mean, there was a lot of games beforehand, but I think this is the big step that we took in the 2013, 2014 to making video games more of a cinematic experience than just you playing and shooting motherfuckers up. I mean, this kind of paved the way for a lot of video games that are widely renowned now to the gaming community as some of the best story games ever. And that, I mean, video games just in general now, they do focus more on story than gameplay, which is cool. Most of the time. Sometimes they kind of fuck it up a little bit, but The Last of Us definitely isn't one of them. And it's one of the best video games of all time.
Nice. So I think Divide by Zero by also friend of the show, Lauren Dixon. I don't have my beautiful new hardcover handy, but check that out. And also Visited by Voices 1, where I wasn't on the last one, but I'm going to try and make the next one, doing kind of a book club for Divide by Zero. And that's all I have got for this evening. Shout out to Sweet Hole, working late tonight. We love you, pugs. And on that note, good night.
I'm going to find the exit of this thing. All right. Good evening.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.